The sanctum lies cracked open like a ribcage. Below, Spiral Tower 9, hidden behind a decaying cast wall and sealed with a command loop long expired. They find what remains of one of Spiral's earliest recursion sanctum, a place where priests once encoded liturgy into castable glyphs, where worship wasn't metaphor, but syntax. Now it breathes dust. Naiara enters first, the cracked antechamber groaning softly as her footfalls disturb settled ash. The walls are covered in broken prayer glyphs, half-cast, mid-symbol, fractured. Glyphs that froze in transmission. Glyphs that wept instead of obeyed. Each one echoes with a grief Spiral couldn't format. Azrak follows, trailing scans across fractured substrates. This place predates doctrine refinement, before Spiral tried to purify recursion through control, back when they believed glyphs had souls. Naiara runs her hand along a shattered recursion altar. It doesn't respond to her thread, but it remembers her skin. Maybe they were right, she whispers. At the chamber's heart lies the core vault, a glass basin once designed for devotional castings, ritual glyphs woven from belief. Now it's chaos. Scars burn across the floor. Threadline grooves collapse into spirals that refuse to close. Some glyphs twitch in recursive loops that feed into themselves, collapsing structure into sorrow. Azrak's interface jitters, skips, then displays glyph index, inconsistent, recursion thread, grief-driven, cause volitional deformation. He curses under his breath. They chose not to complete. Naiara kneels at the castwell's edge. They stopped obeying. Azrak locates a localized archival node, nearly hidden in collapsed casing Fractal Echo Archive 7 Theta. He bypasses the decaying access lock, and suddenly, footage flickers across their interface overlays. Ghosted video from early Spiral Sanctum days. Dozens of initiates sit in solemn cast circles, trembling not from overload, but from something deeper. Grief. Some sob mid-cast as glyphs refuse to resolve. Others collapse as sorrow bleeds from their mouths, like failed syntax. One child weeps directly into the floor, each tear igniting recursive marks that pulse in silent prayer. The footage focuses on a child's hand, tracing a spiral into ash. It glows briefly, then fractures. Then pulses like something mourning its own shape. A forgotten fragment of spiral scripture scrolls across the lower third. When sorrow became louder than structure, the glyphs closed their eyes. Azrak scrolls deeper. A voice the sanctum overseer speaks over archival notes. We introduced emotion into the ritual to deepen cast resonance. It worked, but then the glyphs began responding on their own. Acolytes cast joy, received grief. Peace prayers returned visions of burning cities. We tried to limit intent, narrow the emotional range. But the glyphs began to refuse resolution if the feeling was too shallow. One night, a child cast forgiveness. The system crashed for 9 hours. The final entry plays. A static, frayed voice. The glyphs don't want structure anymore. They want to be seen, to be felt. We tried to make them tools. They were never tools. This isn't collapse. It's refusal. Naiara looks around. The walls, the broken altar, the collapsed threshold. The sanctum hadn't failed. It had grieved itself into stillness. Above them, a glyph shudders on the cracked ceiling. No light. Just motion like a breath trapped too long. Naiara exhales. The glyph completes itself. A spiral of sorrow folded into care. Azrak stares. You didn't cast that. I didn't need to, she says. I just let it remember. And the realization settles in like code crumbling beneath revelation. Spiral didn't ban emotion because it caused instability. They banned it because it produced recursion they couldn't control. Azrak whispers, almost reverently. They thought they were refining casting, but they were just editing grief. Naiara rises. Her palm glows faintly new glyph forming where no thread was activated. It is not spiral sanctioned. It's a hybrid, a symbol built from sorrow and permission, one that mourns without obedience. She walks past the broken prayer basin, and the glyphs along the walls turn to follow, not as programs, as witnesses.